Okay, here we go. Such is life. And Mitch Graf, hi, how are you today?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
I'm good. Mitch is a very interesting guy. Mitch Graf, Business Basics BootCamp, the ultimate crash course. Okay, so does that mean if we learn some of these techniques, maybe we can go into business, or if we've been in business, we can kind of find our way again or better than we did the other time? But let me ask you, we're going to start with this. Cribbage, cribbage, cribbage. There's something called cribbage. I can't even say the word because I don't even know how to play it.
It's a
So
piece
what
of
would have
wood with
ever
holes in it. Yeah.
inspired you to get into the cribbage business?
Not cribbage. Yeah. It's just a simple game that you can play with a piece of wood with holes in it and a deck of cards. And without the cribbage board, you can still play with a piece of paper and a pen. You can just keep track. The goal is to get to 121 points before your opponent does. And you count to 15 and you get runs of 3. It's just a nice little fun game. I learned when I was 5 years old. My babysitter, Bobby Lewis, would babysit me after school, and she taught me cribbage, which got me very well versed in math, right? Adding, subtracting, multiplication, things like that.
Okay.
And as I got older, I continued to play cribbage, and then I saw an opportunity, this is back 25, 30 years ago, to start a cribbage board company. And so I developed a prototype. I took it into our local Target in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. And they say, hey, this is kind of cool. I'll take 48 of each of these 4 designs. Well, I didn't have a business. I just had some prototypes. So I went back and found a guy to make the cribbage boards, found somebody to give me all the decals that I had. It's called the Wildlife Designer Series. I had ducks and geese and elks and all kinds of cool things. And I delivered 48 times 4 to the local Target. Fast forward a year from then, I was in every single Target across the United States for Christmas season. And we were in Target for about 2 years. And then I sold the company, which I like to do. I like to create something, build it, and then offload it so I can get on to something new. And I still play cribbage to this day with my kids.
Wow. So here's let me ask. Here's somebody, and people a lot of times use the widget as an example.
Yeah.
If you want to sell a widget, so we're going to sell a cribbage. So will we start with the fact that you're a born salesman or not?
No. I believe that sales is a skill set that you can learn. There are people that are more extroverted than others. I totally believe some of the most successful entrepreneurs that I know are introverts. And what they realize about themselves is they know what they're good at, and they make sure that their time is spent doing those things, and they offload the things they don't want to do or things they're not very good at. So there's a saying that says you hire people around you that are smarter than you and then stay out of their way and let them do their job. So if you don't like to sell, it's okay. A lot of people don't. Just either learn how to do it or find someone that can, equip them with the tools, and then let them do their job and stay out of the way. That way you can stick to your knitting. If entrepreneurs get very sucked into this 9 to 5 mentality where we do everything from answering the phones to doing inventorying things and vacuuming the floor, that's not where the growth of your business comes from. Like we call those minimum wage jobs. So you need to offload it and make sure you're doing the things that are high valued activities, like growing your company, like doing sales projections, like finding new customers and prospects. And that's hard for a lot of entrepreneurs because we've been taught by all the gurus out there, you need to dive in 120 hours a week if that's what's necessary to build your business blueprint. And I have a different approach. I call myself a lifestyle entrepreneur. And I was doing this 10 years before it became a term, right? Lifestyle entrepreneur. But I believe that you design your lifestyle first. What do you want to do as a family? Where are you going to go on vacation? Where are you going to live? What kind of car are you going to drive? All those kinds of things. Build that first and then reverse engineer and figure out what your business blueprint needs to look like. But I don't believe in working 100 hours a week. I don't care how big your company is. You need to find people around you that can do some of these jobs to free yourself up so that you can have a life.
All right. So here though, but let me ask you this. All right. So you went into Target. You had in essence, a design. You had a concept of a widget, widget.
I call it a what's a who's it. Yeah.
You had a what's a who's it thing. But what you also had in Yiddish, we'll call it koyak. So you had the confidence to say to these target people, these big time target people, okay, because big time hundreds of stores, big time money, they could do whatever they kind of want to do, these kinds of companies, so they
Sure.
have to believe in it. But you had confidence in yourself to, just with the concept, to go out and say, once somebody says to you, I like it, you had the confidence that you're going to now pull it off. Okay.
Yes.
Now, the pull it off is a job. Now, a lot of people could spend a lot of time trying to pull it off and never get in the door. So tell me, I mean, this is, it seems to me, this is a little bit of who you are to be able to do something like that.
Yes, and it's scary because you have to risk failure. And I think that's something that a lot of entrepreneurs just have as part of their fiber, is the willingness and the ability to go out there and say, okay, I'm going to take a risk. It might end in failure. I might end up flat on my face. But if you can get up one extra time, if you're knocked down 99 times, as long as you get up 100 times, life is good, right? You can continue to move. What's that? Santa Claus is coming to town. Put one foot in front of the other. Remember that? The Winter Warlock, just the one foot in front of the other. And it's kind of the same thing in sales and being an entrepreneur, is you need to be able to risk, and I call it measured risk. Back in the olden days before I got married when I was 43 years old, didn't have kids till I was 45. So I waited, I sowed my oats when I was younger. But the one thing I used to do a lot more than I do now is take bigger risks, financial risks, but also time risk. A lot of people think it's just money that you're spending, but our time is precious, man. We got so much time on this earth. It's called the dash, right? You see a born on and a dead on, and there's that little dash in the middle. Our whole life is spent in that little dash. And once today is gone, once the 86,400 seconds in this day is gone, we can never go back and relive it. So measured risk is something I think that all people need to be able to evaluate and then help make their decisions on whether it's something worthwhile doing. I've always liked to sell. I think it's a process I've learned how to do. And all it is getting to know people, asking the right questions, and then listening. I mean, God gave us two of these and one of these for a reason. We're supposed to listen a lot more than we talk. And so good salespeople just ask the right questions and then listen to what the answers are so that you can solve a problem for your customer. That's all that sales is solving a problem. With my cribbage board company, and this is taking me a little back decades. It's interesting that you asked that question, but I just thought it'd be fun to make a cribbage board company. I had no grand illusion of making this in every single Target store across the United States. But when it turned out to be that, it was kind of cool. This is back, I was in my late 20s when this happened. And it kind of got me thinking, you know what? If I have a good idea for a product, if I do the proper steps and make sure that I have sales process in the middle of all of it, I can sell anything to anybody.
Now, you also, though, in the process of this cribbage board pursuit, you brought it to somebody, so you kind of gave some thought to who you were going to, in quotes, sell it to, right? I mean, you could have gone to the 99-cent store in the corner, or you could have gone to Target, right?
Yeah.
And said, XYZ, but the 99-cent store might have as many stores as Target, actually. So, especially in this country, 99-cent stores became quite popular. So I guess you also need to know who wants what you have. How does that fit in?
You have to know who your perfect target. You hear people call it the avatar. Who is your avatar? Not just, it's anyone from 20 to 75 that breathes air. That's not an avatar. I mean, you need to niche down to find your perfect customer, where they live, how old they are, male or female, what their hobbies are. And like with cribbage board, well, it's usually people that are older. I mean, there's a generation now of younger kids being taught by grandma and grandpa, but it's an older sport. I used to play in tournaments, and it's people that are retired that have time to go to these tournaments around the United States. But now there's this whole revolution of the grandparents teaching their kids. Like me, I'm not a grandparent, I'm just a parent, but I'm teaching my kids. So when they grow up, they can teach their kids. It's one of those things.
Well, I'm ready to get a cribbage board. I don't know.
It's easy to learn. Let's do it. It's easy to learn.
I'm ready to go. Why don't we have do another Zoom call, and we can teach. You can teach. You could teach me how to play cribbage. Now, what do I need to? So now, what do I need to play cribbage? You need now. I'm the buyer, or I am the store. So what do you need to give me so I can actually learn how to play cribbage?
So you're a buyer for Target, let's say?
I'm the buyer of Target.
Well,
Yeah.
if this were a real life sales call and I was making it, I'd
No,
say,
it is. I actually own Target, but go on.
I'd say, let's do coffee. In 10 minutes, I can teach you how to play cribbage. We'll play it over a cup of coffee, a nice conversation, or we'll take it to the golf course. We'll play golf, and then at the turn, I'll talk about the rules. And by the end of 18 holes of golf, I'll have a purchase order from you.
Okay. Because you made a friend.
I made
they
a
needed
friend.
what you had.
There's that personal connection, that personal relationship, which is at the very base of all sales. If you try to go in there and sell something to somebody without developing that personal relationship, unless you're trying to sell a 99-cent item from the 99-cent store, that's a whole different relationship. But if you're trying to build a reputation and a long-term relationship with somebody that you want to last years in the future, there's a thing called the lifetime value of a customer. If you realize that this customer may not buy just once, maybe not twice, but maybe 50 times over a 20-year period, you're willing to invest into that relationship to get to know them personally, let them get to know you, because people are buying you. They have to know, like, and trust you before they can know, like, or trust the product that you're selling. So the key to sales is to sell yourself first, your professionalism, your knowledge, your ability to solve their problems, whatever their problem is. You can't play cribbage? I'll teach you. You buy this cribbage board, there's a little rule and how to play cribbage thing at the bottom of the shrink wrap that will teach you how to play cribbage, something like that. And all of a sudden, the blue widget, the blue what's it, who's it, now all of a sudden the sky's the limit as to what you can develop. And there's a lot of people with side hustles right now, right? The economy kind of went to heck in a handbasket. People started saying, I need to make more money. They started to turn their side hustle into a business. The problem with that is if you don't think like an entrepreneur, let's just say that you're a woodworker, you're a cabinet maker, and you are great at making beautiful pieces of wood. That doesn't mean you're going to make a good entrepreneur. That doesn't mean you know how to scale your business, how to find your prospects, how to sell to them, how to market to them, how to price your products, how to build a website and do social media. There's so many tentacles, which is why I said earlier, learn what you do well, do that, and find other people around you in your universe that can do these things that you don't care to do.
Everybody needs an agent.
We all need, that's right. My agent is my wife.
Okay. All right. Well,
she needs to be on the straight and narrow.
There you go. You found someone who can be there for you and in the same house, and hopefully she's not charging you that much. And so,
it's a hefty fee. I'll tell you that.
Take out the garbage. No, I'm just kidding.
That's right. Well, like this morning, it's like in business too. You become teams. You figure out what you do, and then you separate. You don't have duplications or anything. This morning, my two older kids, I have a 13 and a 15-year-old. They have hybrid learning. So today and tomorrow they go to actual school. So I took them this morning at 8:00. My wife will pick them up. I have a full day of interviews, and I have a radio show myself called Business Edge Radio that we do a 1-hour show once a week. And I also have a thing called Business Edge Minute, which Monday through Friday, and this is available on radio stations across the United States. It's just 60 seconds, quick tips on everything from how to make sure you're staying hydrated. Here's some quick tips on taxes for 2021. Here's some things on how to not get bored in your daily routine. So it's just 60 seconds of something that you can action stuff you can utilize right this minute. And it's something that we've been doing for about 5 or 6 months now that is getting some pretty good traction across the country.
Congratulations. I got a sense that everything we're talking about is in your boot camp book. Am I sort of warm here?
Yeah. And the boot camp book, I've had a lot of people tell me they don't want to do a business, but they found a lot of inspiration and a lot of good little tidbits, little golden nuggets, because I spend a third of the book talking about lifestyle design. I don't mention the word business. I talk about making sure that you are maximizing your relationships with your kids, with your spouses, with your partners, with your friends, designing that first. And then I don't care what your business is, this needs to be the first and most important thing that you spend your time on. And then after I establish that in their brains in the book, then I talk to them about sales, marketing, branding, pricing, promotions, social media, all those kinds of things. But to me, the most important thing for an entrepreneur to do at the very beginning, you need to understand what you want out of your life first. It's not always money, right? Being an entrepreneur, it's kind of cool because if it goes well, you can make some money, but it gives you time freedom and location freedom sometimes, where you don't have to go to 8 to 5 job Monday through Friday and have 2 weeks of vacation a year. You actually get some of that time freedom. Like me, Monday morning, I took my kids to school. 8 to 5 people don't get to do that. So that's one of those benefits that I like. One of the reasons that I like being, I have 4 companies, 5 actually. I get bored easy. So I have to have more than one thing that I do. I don't think I could ever be a 9 to 5 guy and do one job over and over again for very long.
Well, you're very interesting. We're on the very much the same page. Every word out of your mouth is the same page. I've been in 50 years in business myself. So,
Yeah.
Or with CBS or PBS, with big companies and entrepreneurs for 36 years now.
Yeah.
And so a lot of things. And I need to hear a lot of what you have to say as well, because I'm in an evaluation phase. But I've always believed that business also is life, and that life is first. And that's always been, as much as business can take you away from personal life, as it does, because it's a demanding scenario. And entertainment, you could be working 24/7. It's just consuming. But there's some rewards if you can put it into perspective. I think that's
the key right there. Is
your word
proper
is perspective.
Yep, proper
perspective. There you go. I'm going to ask you one last question. I'd love to talk to you again, and I do challenge you on a nice cribbage game, because actually I was the world champion of cribbage in 1803. One of my first not even my first life. It was 2 lives before my first life.
Okay. You're like a cat. You're like a
boy, could I work that cribbage board. I devoured it. It was, in fact, I ate it at the end of every time. I would eat it for dinner.
Well, it's funny because I tell people, if I could have come up with an idea of a piece of wood with holes in it and turned it into $1 million business, I mean, literally, it was a piece of 2x4 that we cut down. We put a 1/4-inch Roman OG router on the outside, drilled some holes, put a hole in the end to put the pegs in, put a couple of wildlife decals on it. If I can do something as simple as that and turn into $1 million business, you can turn any of your ideas into a life-sustaining business if you are passionate about it, if you do things methodically. It's not about time. It's not about putting 120 hours a weekend. It's about making sure you have an attack plan, an action plan. Like you said, it's that lifestyle first, the business second.
I love it. We're involved with World Peace, the International Day of Peace. In the sense that we do concerts and so on and so forth. The United Nations on September 21st has a day for peace, and we like to promote it. But every day is a day of peace, and it should be a day of peace.
Yes, so I agree with you.
I've asked many people, what creates peace for you? Mitch, what creates peace for you?
Well, 2 things. My family, number one, and this last year, it's forced us all to spend more time with our immediate families. To me, that's been a blessing. Getting to know my kids. I mean, I'm 59, so I'm young, but I'm not that young. I have a 6, 13, and 15-year-old. I want them all to remember their dad. If something happens to me unplanned, I want them to have the best memories in the world. So especially my 6-year-old. I mean, she's just a little angel, right? I want to create as many memories for her as I possibly can. My father passed away this past year, right in the middle of COVID. And it was very difficult because we couldn't see, we got to see him at the end, but we couldn't see him as he was going downhill. They wouldn't let us see him in the hospital. Well, we made every chance we could to take the kids to see Grandpa for lunch, for the weekends, for whatever. And he just opened his arms to my kids. So that way, now, here we are almost a year later, my kids say, remember when Grandpa used to do this? My 6-year-old this morning said, Dad, look at the sunrise right now outside. Grandpa would love this right now. So that's where my peace comes in, is just spending time with my kids, knowing that I'm teaching them some lessons and getting them equipped and tooled up to have a good life, to make good decisions with their lives. I don't think anyone's going to be an entrepreneur. I mean, I don't know if they want to take over everything I have. I mean, someone's going to have to because it's an asset. But I don't think my kids right now are thinking they want to be a business owner. They want to be things like police officers and interior designers and things like that, which I applaud, and I'll support them whatever they want to do. Someone's got to take my businesses when I'm gone.
Well, and I think with your spirit and your way of life, they might actually change the police officer community, and they might just become the most innovative interior decorator that's ever come, written a book, and made that into a whole nother level.
I like it. I
And
like your thinking.
Not just putting up the drapes, but they're going to be telling somebody how to put the drapes up because of you.
That's very possible. Yeah.
Well, I hope so. It's all good. So congratulations on the book, and thanks. It's a pleasure speaking with you.
Well, thanks for taking the time. It's been an honor speaking with you.
Okay, Mitch, you take care. Talk to you soon.
Take care. All right.
Bye-bye.